Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of The Whole Shot. Today we're going to be talking about this COVID Crusher 2.0 race that is coming up this weekend. That's a hard enduro race that's part of the SEER Racing Series. We're going to be talking a little bit about the gear that we're going to be carrying along. That's why the gear bag's sitting up there. And we're also going to be talking about some races coming up this season for some other series. So if that's the kind of thing you like, then hit the like and subscribe button down there and stick around. So we got the COVID Crusher coming up here in about 3 days. It is this weekend, February 13th. So we're going to talk about that a little bit first, and then we're going to talk about some other races coming up. So this is part of the SEER Racing Series, SEER-racing.com. This is the first race, so it's amazing. It's finally race season. It doesn't feel like it outside because it's like 10 degrees today, but races are finally starting to happen. And hopefully we don't get a whole lot of races delayed or postponed again this year like we did last year, but it's finally happening. So the COVID Crusher, the format of this race, they call it an extreme enduro ride, extreme hare scramble. 3-hour race. They have 4 different classes. So they've got gold, silver, bronze, and iron. The gold and silver guys, they are taking a harder course than the bronze and iron guys. So there's basically 2 different courses laid out. Bronze and silver, bronze and iron. Bronze are for guys that are like us and just kind of getting into hard enduro. We've done a few races, but not that great. And then iron are for guys, I guess, they're just want to get started. They haven't ridden any hard enduros. Bikes maybe not set up for hard enduro. It's just kind of, I guess, to get them a taste of what these are like. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and then unlike cross-country races, they have checkpoints apparently throughout the course. So I heard for COVID Crusher 2.0, they are going to have 2 checkpoints, one at a quarter way through the first lap, and then one at halfway, and then of course the start-finish line. So it sounds like we get 2 checkpoints this time. I don't remember how many we had at Saddleback. It was more than 2.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
Yeah, it was like 4.
4 checkpoints, including the start.
3 in the finish line.
Yeah. Which is good because I have yet to finish a lap, so it's nice to know that I got somewhere at least. We talked in the last episode a little bit about what you need to do to your bike to get ready for race events like this. And so I guess now that we're almost there, we've been talking a lot back and forth, getting ready for this, getting our bikes ready. And so what we didn't talk about last time was just gear. Like what are you going to wear? What are you going to take with you on this race? Like, are you wearing more protection, less protection? What kind of stuff are you carrying as far as hydration or tools? What are you guys bringing with you?
I've got a new 3-liter hydration pack, which is the bladder itself is 2 liters, I think, and then it's got a tool pouch. I have a couple little things in there, zip ties, maybe a shifter. I don't know. As far as protection on myself, I don't want to get. You're gonna get hot anyways, no matter the temperature. So I don't wear a chest protector. I mean, maybe you should. I don't know. I might wear one this time just because of the weather's. But like when it's 100 degrees, 100 degrees is a different story.
I quit. I used to have one of those bigger ones with the plastic shoulder guards and all that, and I stopped wearing that one. And the one I wore all last season, I think it was Alpine Stars, if I remember right, but it's just a small, I don't know what they call them, but just a small plastic plate in front with some padding, and then just padding that goes over the back and nothing on your shoulders or anything. So I'll probably wear that again, just in case I land on my chest or something. But
You
for
might want a chest protector because it's like a mad dash 50, 60 riders start, and there's probably going to be some mud.
yeah,
Those hurt when you get hit in the chest.
yeah,
Yep.
I heard that. So that's a little different because at Saddleback we left in lines of like 3 or 4 or something like that, and so here it's going to be the entire class leaves the line at the same time.
that
That's the way
creates
I
bottles.
understand it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
That's what they did in the past. I don't know if they're changing it or they're trying to keep away from a big bottleneck like last year.
Yeah, and I may throw some
That's from
video
what
up
I've
in here.
heard.
But yeah, last year's looked pretty bad right off the line. There were these like steps built, in a creek. It was like steps up these rocks, and it just looked like jammed up right off the start. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they did something different there. So for me, gear wise, other than the chest protector, I normally wear knee guards, not like knee protectors, but just pads, knee pads, and then elbow pads. That's really it, I think. Um, as far as tools, I'm the same. I got a 2-liter hydro bag. The bag's a little bit bigger than that, so I got a few tools in there, but it's like a wrench, a spark plug, um, screwdriver, a couple sockets. I think that's about it. I didn't have a ton of room. How about you, Dusty? What are you carrying with you?
3-liter hydro bag with a 3-liter bag in it. A couple energy gels will go in my bag. Some Cliff Blocks or some Goo energy gels. Maybe a spare spark plug, but I've never found one in 4 years, so I really don't care if I carry one or not. Spare shifter will go in there. My clutch and brake levers are ARC, so I won't carry spare levers. If they break in a specific place on purpose. Other than that, 8mm bit driver, a couple of zip ties, and like a flathead screwdriver. And that's it. I really won't carry much.
Yeah, there have been. I guess I do have a spare shifter too. I've I've been a shifter a couple times, just even in cross country races, and so I think that's for me really the only thing I've ever damaged and had to replace while I was out. So an 8mm wrench in the shifter has been good, but did come across a couple people at TKO that were out of the race for whatever one reason or another. One guy threw his chain. The other guy, is that TKO or is that Saddleback? He had some issues with his electrical system.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
That
saddleback.
with that Sherco. Not a lot you can do about that. You're not going to carry a ton of parts, but
That was the guy that had was it a bad coil or something like that?
yeah, something like that.
He was way out there too.
You're gonna have an extra clutch pack, Dusty?
Change it out halfway through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might need one. I haven't replaced my clutch in like a year and a half, so it's due to go out. So it probably will go out.
If it's in that long, you're long overdue. I thought you were a one clutch a race kind of racer.
No, I'm a one clutch a year. The EXP disc in there is like 2.5 years old. I don't know how it's still going. I need to pull it out and measure it probably. We'll see how it does this weekend. No time to change it now.
Yeah. No, we're right down to the wire now. Yes, and I know I'm heading out on Friday because it's in Alabama. We're in Indiana. So heading down Friday, camping that night, and then hitting it 10 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, we'll be leaving Friday too, Josh and I. Singing, watching Teletubbies and singing some songs together.
Yeah.
Spinning
How
the
long
world
of a
camper.
drive is?
Do what?
How long of a drive is it from your house?
From my house, like 7 hours by Gmaps. So in the camper, probably 8. So we'll make it there Friday evening.
Yeah. About 7 for me, I think. All right, cool. So that's a COVID. So when we get there, you know, I know at least I'm gonna get some GoPro footage from my camera during the race. We'll hopefully do a little video when we get there and talk about kind of what we see and what's going on. And then we'll do a race cap or a recap after the race at the end too. So before we go on to talk about some other races that are coming up, I guess, you know, maybe talk a little bit about kind of who's out there and see if we want to make some predictions as to who's going to do what, you know, what places these guys are going to get. So I did see they're up to, I'm only looking at the gold here. We're at about 130 something, 133 registered racers at this point. We're running bronze. We got 54 in our class,
Shoo.
which is ridiculous. But looking here at the gold class, so if I was going to make some predictions, and I'm only basing this off of who's registered already, my guess would be, now I don't see Nick Farringer on here. I'm assuming he's going to this.
Nick will be there.
So I'm putting him in the top position, followed by Jordan Ashburn, Quinn Wenzel, Ryder LeBlanc, and then I didn't know about the 5th place. You know, I kind of followed this last year, and looking at who's registered here, I think that actually this Travis Wilson did pretty well, so I'm putting him in the 5th spot.
Well, you got the first spot right. Didn't get the rest of them right.
Well, what do you think?
Nick will be first. I believe I'm pretty sure he's going to be there. He was in the intro video on the SEER page, so I would assume he's going to be there. But second place is going to be Ryder LeBlanc. Third place will be Ashburn. I think Quinn will finish 4th because he's on a brand new bike, and I don't know that he's had a whole lot of time to adjust. And then 5th is Chuck DeLulu going to be there?
No, he's not going to be there.
What? 5th, Drew Dobbs.
It's a good call.
First race of the year, it's anybody's game.
Could be anybody's. You know, and that's the other
It's
thing.
whoever's been putting the work in the off season.
Yeah. And the next thing I was going to talk about, at least, like, it doesn't matter to some of these guys, and you know, Nick and Jordan, these guys, weather doesn't matter. But for me, the weather can make or break a race like this. And I know when we first signed up, or we pre-registered here a couple weeks ago, it was looking beautiful, dry, and you know, mid to upper 50s. And now as we're getting closer to, you know, we're here just a couple days away from it, it's looking like rain and 30s. So I was listening to the American Hard Enduro. They had I can't remember his name from SEER, but they were talking about the race, saying that they were out there the other day and it had rained here a couple days ago, and saying that the hills and the mud were just really slick and greasy. So if we get more rain on Thursday like we're supposed to, it should be really, really interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Real
It'll be
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Toe strap.
Toe strap. I got the toe strap out already and put it in my hydro bag. So I should have talked about that when I was talking about gear. You need the toe strap. That came in really handy at Saddleback last year.
Yeah, it did.
Let's see. All right, cool. So before we go on, talking about maybe some other races, is that it? Anything else about COVID you guys want to talk about?
Not really. Looking forward to it.
Just ready. I know, man. I'm just so ready to go racing. It's been a long time. It was a shitty season last year with all the cancellations, and I'm just ready to get back at it, especially doing something different, doing the hard enduros this year. I think that's going to be super cool.
I'm glad I was able to ride my bike yesterday.
Get it all dialed in.
Man, not really. I'm scared to mess with the carburetor, but
yeah.
I think I'll adjust it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. My bike is brand new, and I rode it one time, and now I'm taking it out to trash it at COVID Crusher. So, you know, I'm sure it's not adjusted right. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun. So the whole SEER thing's gonna be cool. We're gonna try to go to most of those races. I think Dusty's gonna try to go to all of them. But this is a really cool series. I mean, not only is it kind of different just because it's these extreme hair scrambles or hard enduros or whatever you want to call them, but they've got some different formats that are just really interesting. Like they're going to have a night race this year. There's going to be a GPS race, and that's just, I mean, mixing it up is pretty neat. And I think those are going to be really, really fun events. So if you haven't done any of these, and we haven't done very many of these, I mean, I think this is a good time to get out and get into it and try it out. So we talked about COVID Crusher already. So some other stuff that's coming up in hard enduro, not this month, but here within the next couple months. If you guys haven't heard about it yet, AMA is doing this extreme championship, West versus East thing. So that starts around April. The first event there is the Rev Limiter Extreme. I don't think that was part of AMA last year, right?
No, it was, but it just kept getting postponed because usually it's in like February or March. And last year because of COVID, it was in March. Last year because of COVID, they ended up pushing it back to after TKO. It's an AMA event. It was still an AMA event, but I don't know if it was part of the Grand National Championship or not.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
I'm not
because of that.
completely up on how this thing works because they've got a West, it's one series, but they've got a West series and an East series. And then I thought at the end of the season, West battled East, but the Rev Limiter is like round 2 for East and round 1 for West, or maybe it's the other way around. So they're doing it combined at the very beginning of the season. And so I don't know exactly how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Ask Mark, he knows.
Yeah, well, that's Mark. That thing's run by Mark Koch, really great guy. You know, we see him out at TKO every year. So just a really swell guy. All right, so got some other races coming up here pretty soon. So the first IXCR, which I think is almost always in February, is coming up. And of course, it is at the Badlands Off-Road Park in Attica, Indiana, which you either love or you hate that place. I am in the camp of hating that place because I only have a little 250F and it struggles in that knee-high pea gravel. But that's coming up. And I don't know what kind of weather they're going to have, man. But right now it's looking like not really great weather. But that's a nice thing about that place is you can ride there. It doesn't even matter what the weather is. It can be snowing or raining. It never changes.
We've raced Deer Ridge in every condition, so I'd rather race Deer Ridge in the snow than race there.
Yeah, I hate Badlands, man. So
Place
many
is terrible.
freaking whoops and shitty sand. It's not even sand. It's just
Pea gravel.
They got a little bit out there, like a little rock garden and a couple things, but it's just junk. But it's the first race of the year, so when it's nice out, that place will be freaking packed. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was like 70 or 75, and I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people showed up for that race.
You know, what was there, like 500 people?
Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. It was just
huge.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's coming up. So glad to see IXCR starting again. I know you said you weren't planning on doing any IXCRs. I'm probably going to do some of the ones that I like more than others, which doesn't include Badlands, but they do have some fun tracks, some fun courses. What else is coming up? So in March, the first Crossroads in Palestine, Illinois is going to be happening, and I haven't been to a Crossroads yet. I'd like to do one of those maybe this year. And I know we talked about this in one of the prior episodes, and I've already forgotten, but what is the format of a Crossroads race?
The format's about the same as all the other series, but they do have, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 tracks that have an MX track affiliated with the XC course. So, but for the most part, the tracks are a lot smoother I don't know. I mean, they're just an easy flowing track, and bikes race on Saturday, not Sunday.
Yeah, that
So
would be
you have a
nice.
fresh track. It's nice. Their series runs really smooth too.
Yeah, I'd like to try one of those. You know, I I haven't done a Crossroads. I haven't. I did do an Extreme. Done some Midwest. IXCR has been my favorite series so far, just in this area, just because I think they run it really well. The guy that lays out the courses, Craig Bowman, and all the other guys that work there, they do a really great job. But man, I hate racing on Sunday. I don't hate racing on Sunday. I like racing on any day, but I like being able to race on Saturday, get home in time to wash the bike, clean up your gear, and just get all your shit taken care of before you got to go back to work on Monday. And we went to so many races in IXCR where it's like you just get home too late in the day on Sunday to do any of that stuff. And what's worse is when you go to one of those just nasty mutters, you know, and you get home and you can't do anything with your bike or your gear, and it just sits there and waits and dries and gets caked on. Um, so that is one cool thing. So Crossroads is always on Saturday for bikes. They only do bikes, right? Is that right? Or do they do both bikes and
No, they
four-wheelers?
do both.
Okay, but they always do bikes on Saturday.
They don't do side by sides, I don't think.
Okay. So Crossroads in March, and now Extreme XC. Their first one is in March. It looks like the 20th out of Bloomfield. So Extreme XC is new. Was it last year they started up? Last year or the year before last? Don't be
It's
fooled by the
been
name.
2 years.
2 years ago. Don't get fooled by the name. It's not extreme. It's a cross country series. Kind of. Uh, we had this other series going on with that's been around here for a long time, MWXC, Midwest XC. It just seems like all the riders from MWXC just kind of migrated over to Extreme XC. I think the last time I looked, extreme or Midwest numbers were extremely low. I think most of those people moved over. In fact, I didn't even look up their schedule this year to see what was going on there. I know they've got new ownership this year. Maybe those guys can turn it around. But so we've got Extreme XC in March. What is there any other series close by that I'm leaving out? KXCR down in Kentucky, but I don't know what their schedule is. I don't think they've posted a schedule. OXCR I don't follow very closely, right over across the border in Ohio. Is it right? Is that everybody?
No,
Pretty
there's
much.
another one. There's a Grand Prix starting up.
Oh yeah. The high is that High Fly?
Yeah, at High Fly.
High Fly MX Park. Where is
They
that?
ran a few Grand Prix, Scottsburg, Indiana.
Okay, down by Louisville.
Yeah.
That's cool. How long have they been doing that?
They ran a couple of them last year and the year before, but they're going to run like kind of like a series. I don't know how many races.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know about that one. All right. Well, let's wrap this shit show up. So we got a couple days left here to prepare for COVID. Like I said, when we get down there, we're going to do some videos once we get there, course race footage of how awful we do, and then kind of a recap to tell you how much we regretted even going. But that's the plan for now. And we're just going to keep these coming. We'll try to come up with some different topics here and there along the way, but mainly kind of focus on kind of race coverage and primarily the SEER series, although we'll cover some of these other races as we go to them as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching or listening, and make sure you check out the next episode. And until then, we'll see you at the races.